Hello, sir. Namaskaram. Can you talk on the computer, please, now? You have to unmute and then talk. Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Sir, unmute பண்ணுங்க. Can you unmute your phone?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay, good.
we got the job done here. So
Okay,
can
you are all set? Okay,
We are
from
all
your
set.
side. Yeah. Okay. I could not see Dr. Sagar.
Oh, we are here. Okay, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, now I can. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
We see Ashok.
Okay, we'll wait. We'll wait. Okay. Yeah. All right then.
Hey, internet.
your internet and right now. Just go to the Bluetooth Wi-Fi fund from there. Wi-Fi says okay, right?
This one.
Network. None. Yeah, here.
Hello, can you hear?
We'll just, we can just turn that phone down because it looks like it's giving us a little problem. So we can turn this. So you can see the picture, but you can talk.
Hello, part 1.
Yes, yes. So just in the YouTube is working good.
Okay. Is he telling that? I can't.
No, he told me that he was going to work on the YouTube. So put some kumkum.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. So you want to how this reading, this list. No, don't worry about those things.
In the end,
5 more
Part two?
minutes. 5 more minutes, and let us have the announcement for the upcoming Saturday event also for the discourse by Dr. Mohan
yeah, Masani. Okay.
Masani. Yeah.
Okay.
First element, Madhusani.
Masani Mohan.
Mohan Madhusani.
Mohan Madhusani. Ilya,
The-
name.
M.E. I will
Yeah.
type the name.
Madhusani.
Madhusani. Yes.
Can you hear me on my computer? Can you see my computer?
Yes, I can.
But I don't get a volume. Can you hear me from there?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Asudji is joining. Namaskaram, Asudji. Namaskaram. You are on mute.
Namaskaram.
Mute, please. Namaskaram.
Kaadi kekkarda, Partman sir?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
clearly
namaskaram.
visible. And you are already, the YouTube streaming is also on.
Okay.
We don't see Ashok.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Namaskara.
Namaskaram.
That's,
Oh,
Okay. 2 more minutes. We will start.
Yeah, we will give everybody to join a couple of minutes. Namaskara Rani, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನೀವ್ ಹೆಂಗಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಅಂಕಲ್?
Doing well, thank you.
buddy, sure.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ,
ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ
No.
Don't worry about it. I will have my
We do the interviews. They left. No, you do the introduction.
You do the introduction.
Okay.
No,
No, I can do it from here. I can do it right from behind.
I'm comfortable here. Just stay there.
Ashok garu bagunara?
Thank you. I'm doing very well, Dr. Sagar garu.
Mani is also here.
Yes, namaskara Mani.
Namaskar.
Yes.
Yes.
I see my brother also has joined you.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
of course.
ಊಟ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರು ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಬಂದೆ.
Of
We
course.
are here.
ಭವತಿ ಭಿಕ್ಷಾಂ ದೇಹಿ.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there are about 10 friends who came here. There are Shobha is here too.
I don't know, the chandelier is not working today.
Oh, that?
For what?
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಂತ.
Okay, sure, sure.
That's.
Everybody, no,
Yes,
even turn
very
a little.
Yeah,
Yeah, no problem.
but here, but this not coming here.
Good.
No, that, yes, this is the mic, so
Okay. But
Satya Bani.
they have not turned it on. So.
Tamil,
Go on, sir.
Tamil. Vanga.
In the
That's it. Telugu ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು.
Or
Telugu.
Telugu, yeah. Telugu.
Yeah.
We'll get one more.
Yeah.
No, you can see when he talks.
sorry, then
రండి.
He already brought one.
Sit down.
One is here, okay.
Ashwath Gar, we have a big audience in my house right now.
Yes.
Lot of audience.
No, because this is in the way.
Sagar garu, I didn't know. Otherwise, I would have come to your house and then we could have done it from there.
41 is talking.
Yeah. This is a good audience.
ಎಲ್ಲಾರು ಏನ ಸರ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾರು ಕಾಣ್ತಾರ ಮೂಲಕ ಪಾರ್ಥಿಬನ್ ಸರ್
I am
We
not
have a
able to
group
see everybody. I can.
ಗ್ರೂಪ್
No, actually, you have a, what is it called? A background, right? That screen.
Yeah.
You have to disable it because that is
Disable
not
the
showing everybody else.
Disable the background.
No, disable the background from your setting. Zoom setting.
My computer not touching.
ఇప్పుడు can you see that now?
You can't hear me.
No.
You can.
Yeah, there is a background. You have to disable.
And you have to disable the background, I think.
No, actually, I'm not on the
We are
on the
not,
line. Looks like I'm not in the.
That's okay.
I'm not on, correct? We are seeing here.
Actually, I can see only one person at a time. If many people are sitting, I'm not able to see all of them because you have a background, a virtual background. You have to disable that.
Okay.
Somehow my computer is not working. I'll go back and.
That's okay. If they don't see us, don't worry.
We didn't dress up for the party today.
Parthiban, we'll send a picture.
Okay. This keeps coming, this only host and co-host can see this video. Parthiban sir. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. I hear you.
It says only host and co-host can change this. I cannot change it.
No, that is different. It is on your Zoom itself.
No, I can see Ashwath. I can see myself on the corner peeking.
Yeah, but the others are not. Oh, okay. No, but do you see you have a background with earth?
Ade Rishi Parampara background potengaliya.
No.
Get...
No, I see a background for you. If you see your video on the right side, you'll see that.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to that is on your machine, not here.
I can do this. Oh, hold on. Don't be.
Somehow my computer is not picking up. That's okay.
Yeah, your others now you can see we can get everybody in the background.
Now you
Yeah.
can see. And you can see.
Not really.
Yeah.
You can see Vidyasagar, right? On the background.
Yeah, only 2 people.
Okay, we are on top of the universe.
How about other members?
Correct.
We'll show them. You can see Nagamani here. And you can see
Parthiban.
Satya is.
Satya is there.
Shobha is not here.
Oh,
Shobha is coming.
it is an empty chair.
Empty chair is coming. Hello.
Hi.
At the last minute.
Stand or something.
No, this is showing too. Yeah, excellent, perfect.
You don't have to hold it. You know.
Okay. Asudji, do you think we should start?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
One
ready?
second. Okay, live stream is also there, and others please go on mute, except Sagar Garu and Sanat Garu and Asudji. Thank you.
Very good.
You see.
Can we start? Regarding its story. Let's see what it does. Got it. Can we start? Oh,
Trying to do something.
Sanatji, you can start.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Om Shri Guru Bhyo Maha Harihi Om Bharata America Punya Bhumyau Namo Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Om Bhunaktu Sahavi Karvai Ani, very erudite scholar, will be talking about
I think the voice is breaking. Sanat, your voice was breaking. And you are also on mute. I can't hear Sanat. Parthiban sir, are you able to hear anything?
No, sir, you are on mute. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Sanat is on mute. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now we can hear you.
Okay. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om Bharata America Punya Bhumyau Namo Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Madhitama Vishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Sagar now.
Hello, namaskara, all the devotees. We are very pleased to introduce this lecture today again. Our Sri Ashwat Garu will be delivering a lecture on Kapila. as a group. It's a series of the Parampara, Guru Parampara, Rishi Parampara. We are looking forward to listen to Shaswaji. Go ahead, please.
Thank you.
Before that, I will also make an announcement. There is a very interesting program by a very erudite scholar by name Mohan Medasani. It'll be this Saturday at 5 p.m. at Hindu Temple.
And
Please attend.
on Zoom also.
On the Zoom also. The topic is Tirupati, the most holy Kshetram, and its history. So it'll be a very interesting talk. This is for information, and please spread the word. Namaskaram. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashwatji.
Thank you. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you, Dr. Sagar Garu, Sanat, and all dear friends. Parthiban sir, thank you always for your support and help. I'm highly honored by the temple and all of you for this invitation. And this is the 8th presentation in the series Sanatana Dharma Learning Series. We have already seen the title. It is where the son is teaching the mother. If you look at the popular art, it has created an image of our sages.
You know, best thing is you guys go there and then.
Sanat, you please mute your, thank you. So if you look at the popular art of depicting our rishis, you will see a stern old man with a long beard and then a tufted matted hair. We call it as Jata Juta, and then looking very serene and very distant. And that's how the popular art has pictured a rishi. But in reality, these rishis were like us. They were having family. They engaged themselves very actively in society, and they were very, very accessible. Some of them, of course, lived on the fringes of the towns and the villages. It's possible because they had their ashrams in a secluded place, but nonetheless, they were far from the picture of the rishis we see in various posters and in art and even in iconography. A few of them might have been like that. Actually, the sage can be a father, like Uddalaka Aruni for Shvetaketu. He was a householder, and then he had a family, and then he had sent his son to higher studies. And then she can be actually a householder. And then a householder rishi who is capable of discussing and then teaching some deep and profound subjects. She is a dutiful wife who is discharging all the functions of a wife, but at the same time, she is also a sage, such as we have Maitreyi, wife of Yajnavalkya, or she may be running a whole university, like we know of Vasishta, or it can be a very busy king, such as Janaka or Ajatashatru. So therefore, first and foremost, I would like to say that we should not stereotype how a rishi looks like. And here we have a very great sage teacher, and he is a young, probably a teenager, no more than 14, 15 years old. Then he is teaching very deep truths to his mother, Devahuti. And our hero's name is Kapila. Just to give you an introduction to Kapila, what he is going to teach us, and we are going to eavesdrop in the conversation between the son and the mother. It is happening in a very private setting, and in all probability, usually, you have seen how mother and son converse, probably in the kitchen, as the mother has prepared breakfast or lunch, and she is serving him. And then it is typical for a mother to ask, how was your day? What did you study? What did you do? Etc. And then that conversation, similarly, conversation is going on between a mother and son. And so let's eavesdrop on their conversation. No more than a teenager, but he has been considered as a Maharshi because he is the very incarnation of Bhagavan Mahavishnu. In fact, his fame has spread right up to this day. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna in the 10th chapter, 26th verse, he himself says, I am the one who has incarnated as Kapila Muni, Siddhanam Kapilo Munihi. Ashvathas Sarvavrikshanam, Devarshinam cha Naradaha, Gandharvanam cha Chitraratha, Siddhanam Kapilo Munihi. Lord Vishnu himself has incarnated as this young boy in the womb of Devahuti, a mother. In fact, Vishnu Sahasranama also says Maharshi Kapila Acharya as one of the epithets of Mahavishnu. So what exactly is the meaning of this word Kapila? It literally means the red one. Perhaps he was looking like a very red, ripe red, fine features. And also because he came from North India, his location, I'll come to that in a moment, where he was. Some background information about Kapila Maharshi is relevant here. The story of Kapila is from the Bhagavata Purana. And then Bhagavata takes us to the very beginning of the very first cycle of creation. That is, nothing was created yet. And that was the time when creation take place. And in this beginning, at this time, all birth was immaculate. Chaturmukha Brahma, the creator, was creating the world by a mere will. In other words, the animal kingdom, the human kingdom, or any of these was not the product of a male and female coming together. The various gods, the demigods, and the four Kumaras, the first born of the mind of Brahma, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Sujata, and Sanat Kumara, these original four Kumaras were all born of a mere will of the creator. So we have to question, how is this possible? How is it possible for a child to be born without the union of a male principle and a female principle, a man and woman? How can a child be born? In those times, it appears, the Mahabharata has a beautiful verse. It appears, says, early creation happened only from the will of the creator by seeing, by touching. Sankalpat, darshanat, sparshat, purvesham rishiruchyate. In the olden days, these rishis were born by the mere will of the creator, Sankalpat. And once something is created, he might look at an entity, at a person, a male or a female, darshanat, or he may just touch that person, sparshat. Then they would get a progeny. So immaculate birth was very much part of the creation at those times. But when Daksha Prajapati came, Dakshat Prachetasad Urdhvam, after Daksha Prajapati, Srishtihi Maithuna Sambhavat. Creation happened because of the union of man and woman. So the first man that was created by Sankalpat, by mere will of Brahman is called a Manu. That's why he is called Manu. Manu comes from Manas. The first man was Swayambhuva Manu, and then another woman was created by this Sankalpa, and her name was Shatarupa. And then Brahma, the Chaturmukha Brahma ordains, hey, Swayambhuva Manu, you are the only man that I have created from my will. Shatarupa, you are the only woman I have created from my will. Both of you get married. And now it is a time for Daksha Prajapati's time is going to come. You have got to start the procreation in a biological manner. So they married, and they got 2 boys and 3 girls. One of the girls is the mother of our story today, Devahuti. Devahuti came of age. And as she was the eldest, her wedding plans started, because that is the ordain of Bhagavan, Chaturmukha Brahma. The father, Swayambhuva Manu, he decided that I must get a befitting person to marry his daughter. And that person is Kardama Prajapati, again another will-born Prajapati, the creator, Kardama Prajapati. And Kardama Prajapati, who is a Prajapati, means one who has to perpetuate creation. That is his duty. That is why he was created by Chaturmukha Brahma. But then Kardama Prajapati, against the will of Brahma, of his creation, what he does was, I am going to do penance. So he starts doing penance. This is something we'll see, even in our everyday life. A person comes to work, but then he will be pursuing his hobby. So here the question is, why are you here? The purpose for which you are here has to be satisfied. So Kardama was in penance on the banks of the Saraswati river. And Kardama's devotion, that is his bhakti for Mahavishnu, was so intense. It seems Mahavishnu himself teared up with joy. And a drop of Mahavishnu's tear fell on the ground. A drop in Sanskrit is called Bindu. This drop of tear of Mahavishnu became the Bindu Sarovara. Now we come to the location of where our drama is taking place. The Saraswati river, on the banks of which Kardama Maharshi had his ashrama, and where the teardrop of Mahavishnu fell and it formed a lake, Bindu Sarovara, is in today's Gujarat. It is not too far from the city of Patan. From the city of Patan, there is a place called Siddhapura. In the Siddhapura, there is the there is this Bindu Sarovara, and that is the place where Kardama Prajapati was doing penance, and that is the scene of action for us. And in this Bindu Sarovara, even today, to this day, people go and do tarpana for their mothers. Matru Tarpana takes place. So any one of you who plan to go to Gujarat, next time, please make sure that you visit Patan and you also go to the Bindu Sarovara, and then you, those of you who may not have your mothers alive, please offer tarpana for your mother. And this Patan is also famous for another. There is a beautiful Rani Ki Tav, which I have not seen yet. Neither Rani Ki Tav nor Bindu Sarovara. We are try to do it next time we visit India. And that is a place where you see the iconography of all the 24 forms of Mahavishnu. So the reason I mentioned is this area is the abode where Mahavishnu actually descended, and he was the one who blessed Kardama Prajapati, and then to Kardama Prajapati, he actually promises that he will be born as his son. So here we have Mahavishnu promising Kardama Prajapati, who is still not married, he's still doing penance, but then he says, I'm going to incarnate in your womb because of your great devotion for me. Then at that time, the proposal from Swayambhu Manu came, and then Kardama Prajapati agreed, but he put one condition. The condition is, I will marry your daughter, but not for carnal enjoyment, not for the purpose for which everybody gets married for their physical happiness, but I will beget children. And then as soon as the children are born, I have to go take sannyasa and then leave family. If that condition is agreeable, I will marry. Obviously, Swayambhu Manu agreed, because those were the times when, after discharging all our domestic duties, all our duties to our children, one has to lead the life of a sannyasi. In fact, a indication is given in our Dharma Shastras, when your children are married, and then as soon as that marriage is over and you have no more responsibilities for your children, that is the time when you start leading the life of renunciation. That means don't get too much involved in the affairs of your children. The reason I mentioned this is that is part of the conversation between Devahuti and her son Kardama, which we will see presently. So this is the first time in our spiritual history that the value of marriage is established. So what is the purpose of getting married? As Kalidasa says, Prajayai Grihamedhinam, so that we get worthy children. And I will get an opportunity to mentor my children and make them a big asset and a gift to society. And as soon as we have actually brought up our children in that high standards, after that, we can actually say, my duty is over. That standard was established by Kardama Prajapati and his wife Devahuti, the mother of our hero today. And this condition that he can take sannyasa was agreeable to all. And their union produced 9 girls, no boy yet. And then the husband says, how many children we should have? And now it is time for me to go and take sannyasa. And that was when Devahuti begged her husband Kardama to stay on and said, it is not enough, my dear husband, that we get these children. These are all our girls. Until such time those girls are married, you cannot leave your responsibility and go from home. Fair enough. And and Kardama Maharshi agreed. And at the same time, he also remembered that Bhagavan Vishnu had promised that he will become his son. So that has not happened yet. And therefore, Kardama Prajapati stays on. And then shortly thereafter, Devahuti gives birth to our hero, Kapila. And this beautiful boy was the incarnation of Mahavishnu. So in due course, Kardama got all his daughters married off to the Saptarishis, plus 2 more Rishis, Bhrigu Maharshi and Atharva Maharshi. So all these are relevant for our consideration because you remember what a family is getting built up. The family of a very noble person who married for a value, and then he has got an extraordinary wife who gave birth to beautiful women, girls, and all of them were married to the rishis, to the sages, who were all mantra drashtaras. We talked about these mantra drashtaras in our earlier sessions. So they were all visionaries. You may recall in the last month I said that rishi, what is the difference between a rishi and a guru? A rishi is one who creates content, and a guru is the one who interprets and sends and spreads the content in the society. So these 7 sons-in-law of Kardama Prajapati, were all these creators of content. That means the entire culture, Vedic culture, is coming from one single family. What a glorious family it is. And these 9 rishis supported this continuation of this tradition. And then as the wedding was over, Kardama Prajapati left home and became a sannyasi. So the child Kapila has been growing, and he is about a teenager. And because Devahuti's association with her sons-in-law, the great sage's sons-in-law, Devahuti got inclined towards knowledge. She was a wonderful housewife. She brought up extraordinary girls and boys. She actually had all the pleasures of life with her husband Kardama Prajapati. In fact, they go on a world tour in an aeroplane created by Kardama Prajapati. All those pleasures were there, and she ran a very beautiful household. But association of the sages made a difference. The Saptarishis plus Bhrigu Maharshi plus Atharva Maharshi, she started getting attracted towards knowledge. So one day, Devahuti, the mother, called her son Kapila and said, "My dear, you may be my son, but you are the incarnation of Mahavishnu. And all my sons-in-law and everybody say you are a very learned person, you are a very eminent person, and you are a great sage. Shastras say that mother is the first guru. Mother is the first guru, father is the second guru, and after that, other gurus will follow. Traditionally, I must be your guru, but you are the very incarnation of Bhagavan Mahavishnu. And all these days, I have indulged only in my desires and everyday activities, ego and possessions. This has really tired me." Very important point to note. At what point of time that all these things we have assumed, amassed, and acquired will tire us? It will tire us, but we don't recognize that it is tiring us. But here we have a very sensitive woman who is saying, I have got everything I want, but all these possessions and my ego and everything has made me tired. And has made my mind eager to get rid of all these bondages, to be free from all these bondages. So what are the bondages that actually tie us down? It is 3 kinds of bondages which tie our mind. It is called, first one is called Vitteshana. Vitta means wealth. Eshana means desire. First driving desire, compulsively driving desire, is the desire for wealth, Vitteshana. Well, we have got money. Then what do we want? We want a spouse. We get attached to this spouse. And then our whole life has to be compromised, or our whole life has to be adjusted, and therefore it is called Dareshana. Then it is not enough if we get married, we also have to get children. It is called putreshana. So eshana traya, there are 3 desires that actually leads us towards an inclination towards knowledge, because these 3 satisfy us completely and also tires us. This is the analysis of why she is interested in knowledge from Devahuti. Perhaps it is also our experience. So, my dear son, please teach me. Here, we have to understand 2 important points. Number 1, renunciation must occur naturally. It must come without any force, otherwise, or for no other purpose. Otherwise, premature or immature renunciation will cause our downfall. How many sannyasis are there that have fallen off of their vows? They destroy themselves, they destroy the society, and bring disgrace to this extraordinary ashrama. And therefore, renunciation has to come naturally. This is what the Mundakopanishad says, Parikshya lokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedamayat nasti akrita kriteda tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva abhigachet samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. A beautiful mantra from Mundakopanishad. Examine the worlds gained by action. Fully examine what we can do in our projects and acquire freedom from desires naturally. And then determine that nothing external can be produced by that which is non-essential. Nothing essential, nothing eternal can be produced by what is not eternal. This determination has to come naturally. Then we will seek the help of a learned guru. And our mother Devahuti has reached that point. You may say she could have asked any of those rishis. All the 7 rishis, 9 rishis were all mantra drashtaras. They were the one who visualized the mantras. Why she didn't ask them, but she comes and asks her son. The answer is simple, because all of them were mantra drashtaras who were focused on yajna, karma, and then they were focused on establishing dharma. They were establishing methodology of worship. Philosophy was incidental in all those earlier karma kanda, but now philosophy and philosophical thinking becomes the primary focus. And for that she chooses her son. First point to be noted is renunciation must come naturally. So for Devahuti, renunciation has come naturally. The second point, very important, is to find a worthy teacher and ask to be taught with humility and with sincerity. And therefore, Devahuti does not simply demand that her son teach her, does not exercise the hierarchy of a parent and a child. She sets up the standard of Guru-Shishya relationship. It is a breakthrough in human cultural development. For the first time it happens in very ancient India. How? The son becoming the mother, becoming the guru, and the mother becoming the shishya. That means it doesn't matter who the teacher is. As long as this teacher is worthy, all rank, status, everything has got to be dropped. There is a beautiful story of a king, Janashruti, approaching a very great sage called Raikwa. I'll give the details in some other context. And Raikwa will not talk to the king until he takes off all his royal clothes and comes as a simple person. So Devahuti has set that standard by saying, no pride for me to learn from my son. Remember, she is the 10th child. He is the 10th child. What should be the age difference between the mother and his son? But she goes with such humility. That means the student should abandon all ego and self-sense importance. Another remarkable feature of this conversation. This conversation probably is for the first time in human history that systematized the philosophical principles. Until now, what were the quality of the discussions? How should we do yajna? How should we do our karma? What is yaga? How should we do tapas? What siddhis we have got to achieve? How do we go to swarga? These were the subjects of conversation. Here we see, for the very first time in human history, a conversational style of philosophical inquiry. And that is why I propose to talk about this today. Because what's the beauty of a conversation? In conversation, for the questioner, the question is of personal relevance. And the response of the teacher is customized for the person. And when this customization of questioning and a customization of answering becomes universal, it becomes Shastra. And that is what is happening in the conversation between Kapila and his mother. What are all the principles that will be set here? Metaphysics, ontology, ethics. Every classification of how philosophy should be studied is established in this private kitchen conversation between the mother and son. Remarkable. Kapila Maharshi responds to his mother Devahuti's question. What was that quality? What was the quality of the question and what was the quality of the response? He leads the conversation in such a way that the following questions become subtler and subtler and subtler. And here in this conversation, we learn another skill of a good teacher, of how he leads the student to go from the gross questioning to subtle and deeper questioning. That also we see in this extraordinary conversation. Kapila Maharshi amply demonstrates the skill of stimulating the student to think. There is no ready-made digested food being put into the mouth. And he does it with so much of compassion. And he steers the conversation to be systematic. These are all many, many principles that actually we can learn from this conversation. Now, how to systematize philosophical conversation? In other words, how to inspire a student to think like a philosopher? We may not get answers to all the questions, but we must stimulate in such a way that the student wonders about reality. And he wonders and constantly expands his knowledge. And that is how the teacher must actually inspire the student. And we will see how Kapila Maharshi does it. One important point to keep in our mind is that this is not any ordinary conversation. Here we have an eminent questioner and a divine responder. So she asked the first question. My dear, your father has taught me many things. What is the importance of this statement? This statement is so revealing that when I go to a teacher and ask a question, especially in philosophical and spiritual matters, can I summarize in one sentence what is it that I don't want time to be spent on? Your father has taught me many things means Devahuti is telling her son about dharma, artha, and kama, the three pursuits I have learned from your father. So I am not interested to listen to from you, go back to the basics as to what is dharma, artha, kama. This is the spirit with which the conversation starts. So in the way in which a student asks you a question, you know what is his intelligence. You know where you should start your responses. And she says, ever since I entered into family life, I have grown attached to the world, things, and people. So dharmartha kama, I have understood from your father, but I have got attached to that. Now I am feeling bound by all these things. My mind desires to become free from this bondage. My dear son, please teach me about freedom from bondage. The subtext here is dharmartha kama cause bondage. Dharmartha kama not only cause bondage, but also they are coupled with dukkha. And not only that, for the practice of dharmartha kama, we have to depend on somebody else. And therefore, there are limitations. When you depend on somebody else, when it is causing bondage, when it is mixed with hardship and difficulty and sorrow, and then when you are not satisfied, whatever you have, however much you have, you are not satisfied, obviously the person gets tired. So she says, I have got tired. And therefore, and not only that, I have got bondage. So I want you to understand the difference between bondage and love. Here, Devahuti has love for her husband. Devahuti has love for her children and sons-in-law. Love is different from attachment. We must love all, but that should be unconditional and free from any expectation whatsoever. Devahuti is saying, I don't know how to do it. I only know how to get attached. I don't know how to get detached. Please teach me. In response, Kapila Maharshi starts teaching mother. First of all, let us see what causes bondage. It is the mind. It is the mind that causes bondage. When the mind is attached to the world, it is bondage. By bhakti towards Ishvara, you get free. For a deep and profound, almost unanswerable question, Kapila Maharshi gives a simple solution. The problem is in you and the solution is in you. There is a Upanishad called Amritabindu Upanishad. In that Upanishad, this point is codified. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Manushyanam, for the human beings, mana eva, it is the mind which is either causes bondage or it gives you liberation. Then what is the what does this mind do? Bandhasya Vishaya Sangaha. When the mind is in association with things, with enjoyments, then you are in bondage. Mokshasya Nirvishayam Manaha. When the mind can be cleansed from all those attachments. Please note difference between attachment and love. You should love your children. Definitely you should love your work, but you should not get attached to that, because in the absence of them, even for a minute, if you are restless, then we are in bondage. Thus, the first teaching of Kapila to Mother Devahuti was follow Bhakti Yoga, that is unity with Paramatma, the divine self. Mother, give up ahankara and mamakara, me and mine. At least intellectually, give it up. How can you give up all this? How can you give up mamakara and ahankara? You cannot say this is not my son. You cannot say this is my car. How can you give up all that? You cannot say this is not my body. So Kapila Muni's response is, you consider everything that you are having is Ishwaranugraha. Your body, your thought, your mind, your possessions, everything is Ishwaranugraha. That means it is granted to you by Ishwara. That is the key, Mother, for us to get ahankara and mamakara. Overcome ahankara and mamakara. Shastra says, Mother, there are 8 kinds of vanity and pride that comes. One is dhanamada, the ahankara, mamakara coming from wealth. The second is, I am from a very noble family, kulamada. Vidyamada, I have got a string of these qualifications, vidyamada. Rupamada, I look so beautiful. Yauvanamada, youth. Power, shakti. The huge amount of family that I have who are at my beck and call, kutumbamada. And of course, the mada of the position, adhikara mada. So dhanamada, kulamada, vidyamada, rupamada, yauvanamada, shakti mada, kutumba mada, adhikara mada, any one of them can cause bandha. Mother, people have got all these 8 in them. Question: how can we give up all these things? We have earned them because of the Purva Punya or by hard work in this life. Then Kapila responds, Mother, when our innate tendency towards attachment is directed towards a true devotee, a Mahapurusha, then your mind will get away from all these madas. Because you will see somebody who is leading a high quality of life and who is not having any of these madas. Adi Shankara in Vivek Chudamani says this very beautifully. Durlabham trayametat daivanugraha hetukam. It is only by means of grace of God. 3 rare things are available to us. Manushyatvam, mumukshatvam, mahapurusha samshrayaha, human birth, desire for freedom from all bondages, and thirdly, to get the association of a learned person. These 3 things are very rare. Kapila, my son, what are the qualities of those people? Mother, they are self-controlled, samyamis. They have enormous amount of forgiving capacity, kshama and kranti. They are very loving and they are friend of everybody. Every single person feels he is very close to me. She is very close to me. Sarva Suhrad. That is the quality of a Mahapurusha. And a Mahapurusha is always aware of the divine. And because their hearts are always united with God, for them, no sorrow or grief agitates their mind. Not that they don't grieve, not that they don't cry, not that they don't have sadness, but it does not disturb their mind. Because their mind is enriched by the presence of Paramatma in their heart. Hence, their equilibrium is stable. They are free from bandha. Mother, we have to be in association with such people. I'm sure that all of you have heard of India's Iron Man, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. In the year 1909, Sardar Patel's wife Zaveriba was admitted to the hospital in Bombay to undergo a major surgery for cancer. Regrettably, she did not survive. Sardar Patel was arguing a criminal case. He was defending a person who had not committed the crime but was charged. And Sardar Patel was cross-examining a witness. One of his junior lawyers slipped a piece of paper into Sardar's hand. And Sardar just took that slip, read, and put it in his pocket, continued the argument, and won the case. And then he announced, I just got the news that my wife has passed away. My case is completed. Please forgive me. I have to leave the court. Dukkhesh vanudvignamanaha sukheshu vigataspraha vitaraga bhayakrodha sthidadir muniruchyate, says Bhagavan Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 56. What a fortune, mother, if one could get the association of such a person. Thus, the second question of Devahuti was taught. Teaching number 2 is, be in the company of noble people. Associating with them makes your mind free from bondage. Bhagavan Shankara again, in his great work Bhajagovindam, says, Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan muktihi. Mother, by noble association, what we do? We dissociate from the unwholesome. Satsangatve nissangatvam. Nissanga is attached, not being attached to wrong things. Nissanga doesn't mean not having any company. Not attaching ourselves to the wrong things is Nissanga. And then by that, we will become freedom from confusion, their mohatvam. Then clarity of mind comes. And because of clarity of mind, steadfastness of the mind comes, then it leads to moksha. Mother, our mind is like a container. We put things, ideas, attitudes, impressions, and perceptions into our mind. What satsanga and association with Mahapurushas, what it does is, like a dishwasher, it will clean and dry the mind. Shastra study is filled into it, into that mind, with wholesome, nourishing, uplifting, joyous ideas. And that is how we free ourselves from pettiness. in ancient Rome, Greece, where they used to use Latin, there is a phrase called tabula rasa. Now, tabula rasa, in those days, the students used to take notes on a wax-covered tablet. There used to be a tablet and they will cover it with wax. Then on that wax, they will actually write, make notes. And then you have got to erase it. To erase it, what they would do is they would melt the wax in that tablet. And it would solidify again, and it is clean slate. They would write. That's why they called it as tabula rasa. And so like that, the mind should be like the tabula rasa. So by the heat of the tapas, by the heat of contemplation, completely erase of all the 8 different kinds of madas and the confusion, and rewrite by means of Shastra Abhyasa and company of the noble. Thus, Kapila has answered the important question, how to be free from bondage. This satisfied Devahuti. She asked the next question. Dear son, I understand that we have to be in the company of the noble, the learned, and then, but you also said that I must shift my attachment to love of God. Dear, tell me how I may love God. That love of God which brings me freedom. Again, we should not lose the first starting point. It is all for the sake of freedom. Then you are saying, okay, I can free myself from all confusion, attachment, and then learn how to detach myself in the company of the noble people. Agreed. And then you also said that you must also have developed bhakti for God. Then how can I do that? What is the process? That love which brings me freedom. You remember, our ordinary love creates attachment, which is vitteshana, dareshana, putreshana. But this has to be made into an extraordinary love of God. And therefore, we have to introduce the concept of what is bhakti of God, how we can achieve this bhakti of God. And that is where Kapila Maharshi, to his mother, he introduces the next phase of saying, once you have chosen your Ishta Devata, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Mother, you have to choose one or more of 9 strategies. You listen about the Devata, so you understand that this Devata is worthy of contemplation. Sing about that great Devata, Kirtanam. Always remember Smaranam. And then whenever you are doing anything, not only ritualistic worship, but any work whatsoever, think that you are actually doing the Pada Sevana, that is worshipping the feet of the Lord. With that attitude, you execute all your work. And worship Archanam ritualistically and through your works. And then Vandanam, thank. Suppose, I do something for somebody. Normally, what is the procedure? Whoever has received something from me will say thank you. On the contrary, I must thank the person who accepted my service. And that is the actual Namaskara, Vandanam. And Dasyam. Become a servant of the universe. And then befriend everybody without attachment. Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Give yourself up in the service of that one principle. Elsewhere, when I was talking about Ramayana, I had mentioned about the quality of Hanuman. Hanuman was just a monkey. But the moment he came to know Rama, this monkey becomes Hanuman. Because he got one purpose, one noble purpose for which sake Hanuman said, I'm going to dedicate my whole life. And that dedication is going to take away all the weight of living. And this methodology is what we should adopt, Mother, to develop this Navadha Bhakti. All right, my dear son. Now, please teach me how to meditate, the yoga of meditation. So that was the next question. We will take one more session to conclude the study of Kapila and Devahuti's conversation in the next month, and then we will continue the series. Thank you very much. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti. Om Yo Namaha. Hari. Thank you, Sagar Garu, Sanat, sir. Thank you very much for again having me. And then
Thank you, Aswatji.
Namaste.
Thank you,
Namaste.
and we will see for the next month's series.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
In the next
Sakakar and Sanatji, you want to say something before we leave? Suji, you can go ahead. Yeah. You want
Yes.
to
In the next month, we will do the continue with Kapilas. And then following that, my suggestion is Surya as the teacher. Lord Surya himself becomes the teacher. And we will look at how Surya can be the teacher for the whole mankind. And that will follow after the next month's study. If there is any change to be done, please do let me know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think we can conclude today's discourse, and thanks everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night. Yes.